the door that knocked from the inside. Daniel Carter moved into his grandfather's abandoned farmhouse in a remote mountain town in West Virginia. The house had been empty for 13 years. It was large, cold, and filled with rooms that had remained locked since his grandfather's death. On Daniel's first night, at exactly 3:03 a.m., he woke to 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. The sound came from an old storage room door at the end of the upstairs hallway. Daniel grabbed a flashlight and approached it. Then he noticed something impossible. The knocking was not coming from behind the door. It was coming from inside the wood itself. Daniel pressed his ear against the door. A man whispered from somewhere inside it. "Daniel, don't open the door for me." Daniel froze. The voice was his own. The next morning, he examined the door in daylight. Deep scratches covered the wood from the inside out, as though someone trapped within the door itself had been trying to claw his way free. Daniel visited an elderly neighbor who had known his grandfather. When Daniel mentioned the storage room, the old man's expression changed. "Your grandfather never had a storage room at the end of that hallway." Daniel laughed nervously. "The old man did not. That room never existed." Daniel returned to the farmhouse and measured the building. From the outside, the house was 38 feet long. Inside, the hallway alone measured 45 feet. 7 feet of the house existed where nothing should have been. That night, the knocking returned. This time, it was faster. Knock, knock, knock. Daniel heard himself crying behind the door. "Don't open it. If you open it, we'll switch places." Then, Daniel's phone rang. The caller ID showed his own number. He answered. His voice screamed from the speaker. "Don't listen to me. Open the door." At that exact moment, the storage room door slowly opened by itself. There was no room behind it. There was a hallway, a long, narrow hallway disappearing into complete darkness. At the far end stood a man with his back to Daniel. He wore Daniel's clothes. The man slowly turned. Daniel stared at his own face, but the man looked 30 years older. Gray hair, wrinkled skin, hollow eyes. The older Daniel smiled. Finally, he took one step forward. "You opened it again." Daniel slammed the door and pushed a heavy cabinet against it. At sunrise, his mother called. "Daniel, where are you?" "At Grandpa's house." Silence. Then she whispered, "What are you talking about?" Daniel frowned. Grandpa's farmhouse. His mother began crying. "Daniel, that house was demolished 13 years ago." Daniel slowly looked toward the window. The mountains were gone. The road was gone. The entire town was gone. Outside the window was another hallway. At the far end stood a younger Daniel. He was standing in front of a closed wooden door. He leaned forward and pressed his ear against it. Daniel suddenly understood. He ran to the storage room door and started pounding on it. "Don't open it!" From the other side, his younger voice asked, "Who's there?" Daniel looked down at his hands. They were wrinkled. His hair had turned gray. He was no longer standing outside the impossible room. He had become the man trapped inside it.
من فضلك اشترك وشارك واضغط إعجاباً.